Alright, so in this book, The Russian Revolution, it focuses on how badly World War One affected Russia and helped cause the collapse of the country. Russia entered the war as a large empire under Nicholas II, but it was already weak compared to the other major European powers as France, Germany, and the United Kingdom and Austria-Hungary. They were severely underdeveloped and didn't have a very large industry. Its transportation system was also very unreliable, and their army was poorly equipped for a modern war. They were heavily reliant on old tactics like cavalry charges, which would prove very quickly to be very, very, how do I say this? Ineffective. But at the start of the war, many Russians believed it would be a quick victory, but they were proven very wrong. Russia suffered huge defeats on the Eastern Front, losing millions of soldiers through death, injury, and capture. The army often lacked enough weapons, ammunition, and basic supplies for their soldiers, and many of their soldiers were very poorly trained, most of the time just taken off the streets. As the war continued, morale dropped very quickly, and soldiers began to lose faith in their leadership. At home, the situation was just as bad. Cities struggled with food, and because the railway system could not move supplies efficiently. Prices rose, inflation got worse, and everyday life became increasingly difficult for most ordinary people. Workers and families in places like Petrograd faced hunger and cold winters while also hearing news of military failures. This created growing anger toward the government and the Tsar. And by 1917, the people had enough of the government and held a protest in Petrograd, a very large protest against the government. And Tsar Nicholas II took took a step down from power and let the people be in charge. But they couldn't fix the problems of the old Russian government fast enough, where Bolshevism came in, which was just communism in Lenin's way. And workers and ordinary people loved the idea of it and they wanted change fast. So they started supporting it heavily. And a thing is known as the October Revolution took place in 1917, allowing the Bolsheviks to get in charge of the country. They immediately took the Russian state out of the war against Germany, while giving up major lands, but that caused a revolution, the Russian Revolution. And around 20 million people died in this conflict, and there was two sides, the whites and the reds. The reds were the communists, and the whites were the formerly known government. The whites were supported by Western allies like France, United Kingdom, and America, but it wasn't enough. And by 1922, the Reds had full control over Russia, even though they lost Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Poland, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think so. They had reclaimed Belarus and Ukraine, as well as Kazakhstan, I believe, and I think parts of China. I'm not too sure. But anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great day.